there, Jabari Parker, the freshman, Rodney Hood, the transfer, they take charge. Outstanding front court duo, almost 41 points per game, second highest scoring duo in the nation.
Take a look at your starting lineups. Lee, Talley, Riley, Bryant, and leading scorer Carrington Ward for the Eagles. And for Duke, a little change in their starting lineup. Parker, Dawkins in for Hood, Cook, and the seniors Thornton and Hairston. Opening tip, we're underway, and the visiting Eagles control.
Well, you talk about the change in the lineup over the last 5 games. They've only allowed about 66 points per game, as opposed to the first 6 when they've allowed 75 points a game. And that's because of Hairston, Thornton, upperclassmen, seniors. They communicate, plays tremendous defense.
Nice look inside, and the first bucket of the game also is accompanied by the first foul of the game.
I mean, normally Josh Hairston gets there in time, didn't make it that time. Take a look, trying to step up, foot in the restricted area, of course. But nevertheless, he and Thornton, tremendous, intense defensive players. And they'll communicate, get the young players focused on playing D.
Making free throws is going to be key for these Eagles. Coach Rod Murphy told us before the game they like to set up some full court pressure a la Louisville.
Well, like you said, you got to make them to set it up. And right there they did, trying to contain a little bit. You know, talking about Rob Murphy being an assistant at Syracuse for 7 years. Hence the 2-3.
And how about the opening bucket for the Dukies? Jabari Parker immediately in the scoring column. And here's a steal. Parker again.
Eastern Michigan getting their mettle tested early. Couple of turnovers. Well, actually, 1 turnover, 1 alley-oop over the zone.
Here's Talley for 3. Yes. Mike Talley following up a career performance in their last game against Oakland. He had 21 points and 9 assists. He has the first 6 of the game for the Eagles.
The silencer.
Here's Quinn Cook.
But again, we talked about the 2-3 zone. Play it pretty much just like Syracuse, utilizing length. They may not be as athletic, but they've got Deshaun Riley, a former Syracuse player in the middle who can block shots.
Jump ball possession arrow will be Duke. And there's our look at Rob Murphy, a Detroit native himself in his 3rd season at Ypsilanti. After 7 as one of Jim Boeheim's top assistants at Syracuse, he was the MAC Coach of the Year 2 years ago. And we mentioned one of the stingiest defenses, not only in mid-major America, but in all of college basketball.
And you can see why aggressive in the 2-3, double teaming in the corners. They're going to try and make it hard on Duke.
So Rodney Hood didn't start, but he's immediately inserted into the lineup by Coach K. He inbounds. Three on the shot clock. Cook himself. Nothing but air, and it's going to be a shot clock violation.
Pretty good defense, 2-3 zone. Tough to solve. It's not as easy as people think. And what Duke is going to have to recognize, they didn't see nearly as much the way it's played now throughout ACC play in the last, I don't know how many years, but Syracuse now, the Orange, a member of the ACC, Duke has got to prepare themselves and prime themselves for a 2-3 zone that is very aggressive, very long, and difficult to solve.
There's another aggressive drive, this time by the redshirt freshman Raven Lee. And we have a turnover by the Eagles. That's their 2nd in the first couple of minutes of play.
Yeah, this is really Lee's first season. He had the red shirt because of a foot injury. Only played 8 games last year. But he's one of their better scorers, shoots the ball well from beyond the arc.
Here's Cook, the lob. Hairston couldn't corral it, but it's going to stay Duke basketball. Well, the lineup that we see on the floor, Len, is the lineup you were talking about, where with this 5 on the floor, much better defensively the last 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to Thornton and Hairston doing the dirty work. Hairston, man in the middle, not a shot blocker, but he'll take charges. And Thornton is just a pest out there on the perimeter.
Jabari Parker showing the repertoire early going. He has all 7 Duke points. They lead it by 1.
Isn't there some freshman scoring all 7 points? I mean, he's just done everything. Double figures in all 11 games.
Young man is second in the nation to Doug McDermott in terms of points per play. Ball's on the floor. It's tied up. It'll be Eastern Michigan basketball.
Take a look right there. Just double team, little tentative, and no one rotates over for Parker's three-point shot. And they're going to learn quickly, Eastern Michigan, that you've got to be able to get a hand in that young man's face. Outstanding three-point shooter, almost 50% from beyond the arc this year.
Number 21, Emil Jefferson, is checked in for Krzyzewski. 4 on the shot clock. Jefferson immediately corrals his first rebound. Here's Hood, left-handed 3. In and out. Jefferson an offensive board.
Well, that's where Eastern Michigan has problems right now from a rebounding standpoint. -4 rebound margin. They've got to be able to cut down on a second chance opportunity.
Transition 3, no good, but the rebound goes to Eastern Michigan, stripped by Parker.
Bryant worked hard for that. Didn't get the payoff. Good defense.
Parker working the baseline, gets the foul, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
You know, it's interesting how this works out. You got Eastern Michigan playing here December 28th. Rob Murphy, a disciple of Jim Boeheim, playing the 2-3 zone. And I mentioned before that Duke has got to get a better look at how it's played, particularly by a team like Syracuse. And although Eastern Michigan is not Syracuse, Duke plays Syracuse February 1st. So you can bet that this is a great opportunity to get a peek, to let his players get a peek at the way this 2-3 zone is played. Actually, Duke goes to Syracuse, which makes it even more difficult. Syracuse comes back here February 22nd. So it's a great way to give his guys a live look at that 2-3.
Parker hits 1 for 2. He's 77% from the free throw line for the season. Andre Dawkins is checked in for the Dukies. Parker gets a rebound off the 3-point miss. Coming up on 4 minutes gone by. It's an 8-6 Duke lead.
And Carrington Ward's got to make the defense work a little harder.
Spin move Parker. Tried to get his own miss. It goes out of bounds. It'll be Eagles basketball. And we have our first media timeout of the afternoon. Duke getting an early at Duke University.
Testament not only to excellence, but to staying power. And a lot of people get a little antsy staying in the same place for so long. I mean, obviously one person, Jim Boeheim, comes to mind, and certainly Mike Krzyzewski. That's total commitment right there.
Eastern Michigan with the ball. They trail by 2. Here's their leading scorer, Carrington Ward, number 14.
Trying a lot of weaves. Duke playing nicely off the high ball screen. Good defense right there.
Loose ball. Talley picks up his own miss.
Very important Eastern Michigan gets to those 50-50 balls.
And they convert on that 50-50. Dalen Harrison, the transfer from Wyoming, his first 2 of the afternoon.
Yeah, when the ball's on the floor, up for grabs, either team can get to it. You know, Eastern Michigan is one of those teams that has to increase the number of possessions because they're at a deficit in rebounding, and we need to find a way to neutralize that.
2-pointer, and Dawkins gets fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
We're gonna take a look right here. Nice spin. Good job, Dalen Harrison, with a good challenging move right there. And that's what you have to do. You get Duke players one-on-one. You've got to be able to challenge them. They play such great team defense, but if you got an opportunity one-on-one, you got to make sure that you make the most of it.
So Andre Dawkins will be at the line. A 6'4", 215 grad student. He's made 9 of 11 free throws so far this season.
Well, if Andre Dawkins, his career here at Duke has been up and down, but still a guy that shoots the 3 so very well. He has a place on this team.
Yeah, 40% from distance for his career, and he knocks down the first free throw. ESPN 2's coverage of college basketball continues tonight with a doubleheader. First at 8, the Tigers take on the Wolfpack. Then at 10, The Bruins host the Crimson Tide. College basketball tonight, Missouri, North Carolina State at 8, then Alabama, UCLA at 10 on ESPN2. Both games live on Watch ESPN as well. And look at those two in attendance here at Cameron. Fran Fraschilla and Jimmy Dykes. Sans play-by-play will be calling that game. NC State and Missouri. Harrison showing a feathery touch. He has 4.
One of the more experienced players on this team, redshirt senior. Transfer from Wyoming a couple of years ago. Started all 34 games last year, and that's what you need, experience.
Yeah.
And a lack of fear.
Well, you mentioned redshirt and you mentioned transfer, and that basically identifies almost everybody on this Eastern Michigan roster. 11 players have transferred in, 6 have redshirted for Rob Murphy's club.
And that's the difficulty in putting together a team that has chemistry. If they haven't played together that long, they're taking guys from disparate programs, and you got to be able to pull them together. That's a difficult job for a coach.
A bucket gives Eastern Michigan the lead, but it gets blocked. Parker up ahead. Jefferson couldn't handle it. Extra pass. Dawkins triple. A fan favorite inside Cameron, Len.
Well, you better find that man. He's going to spot up for a 3.
And a traveling violation called on Terrell Combs. That's the 3rd Eastern Michigan turnover.
Well, coming into this game, 19 of Andre Dawkins' 26 field goals were 3s, and 42 of his 52 field goal attempts were from 3. So you got to believe in a fast break situation, Dawkins is not streaking to the basket. He's pulling up, trying to find his spot beyond that arc, and you got to get to him.
Here are the Eagles in their 2-3 zone, a la Syracuse.
You know, the extension of the guys in the back that come up to the wing now, that's a little bit of a wrinkle that a lot of teams don't do. And again, that length makes it difficult for opposing teams.
Dawkins short on the 3. Parker tried to save it out of bounds. It'll be Eagles basketball. One thing we do know early on in this game, there will be no quit in this Eastern Michigan team. The E on their uniform stands for more than just Eastern Michigan, as Rob Murphy told us.
Yeah, it's one of those things, effort, energy, and enthusiasm. That's what it's all about. You got to have fun playing this game. It's no use coming out on this floor if you're not putting forth the effort. And non-stop 40 minutes, you got to play as hard as you possibly can. I mean, this is a team that goes 10 deep. 10 guys on this Eastern Michigan team play 10 minutes or more.
Number 40, Marshall Plumlee, has checked in early for Mike Krzyzewski. Here's Rashad Suleiman, who's also checked in. A little hesitation jump shot. Plumlee, the offensive rebound. Dawkins tried to make the extra pass, knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Duke ball.
A couple of guys a little too unselfish. Dawkins with the penetration had an opportunity for a shot. Instead, he gave it up looking to pass. And Plumlee with the offensive rebound. You know, he's 2 feet from the basket. He's got to be able to power that basketball up.
Suleiman, Plumlee.
That's better.
And he'll go to the line. He was fouled by number 35, Harrison. So Marshall Plumlee, a 7-foot redshirt sophomore out of Warsaw, Indiana. You know the last name very well. His 2 older brothers both came through Duke University as well.
So far, he really hasn't panned out to be the player expected, but you know, it's pretty difficult to have 2 brothers who start here, and for him to try to live up to their expectations. You hope that he's looking to try to make his own mark, but he's got the athleticism. He just needs to continue to work. Good tap out. Hairston once again, the experienced senior.
A couple of misses from the free throw line. Relatively rare for the Blue Devils. They're a 73% free throw shooting team.
But that's a rebound Eastern Michigan needs to have.
Hairston lost control. Here come the Eagles. That's J.R. Sims who wisely pulled it out. Here's Ward for 3.
Boy, Ward has been way off. Hasn't even been close in those 3s.
Weak side rebound to Hood. open three in the corner, had it blocked. And are they going to get the foul on Harrison from behind the arc? Yes, they will. Well, we talked about Coach K and his team on a 108-game win streak, nearly 14 years. Duke was #2 in the polls, trailed only by Stanford, #1. The best picture that year would turn out to be Russell Crowe and Gladiator. Gas, oh, I wish we could go in the Wayback Machine. Gas was only $1.33 a gallon then. And Coach K had a mere 564 wins at that time.
Oh, 402 more. That's essentially what he's had between then and now.
So Rashad Suleiman steps to the line to shoot three. He was fouled on a three-point attempt when we took that last time out. 75% free throw shooter.
And this is a young man who you thought his trajectory was going to be steep heading for the heights. He's had an enigmatic year. Last year averaged 12 points, 3 rebounds, 42% from the field. And, you know, you wonder if it's a sophomore slump, only averaging 6 points and 2 rebounds, shooting below 40%.
Yeah, Len, he had a decent game against UCLA last time out. 8 points, 5 boards, 4 assists. But he didn't play at all against the Wolverines. Suleiman makes 2 of 3, and it's the largest lead of the game for the Blue Devils, 15-10, under 12 to go.
Good solid defense by Duke, forcing Eastern Michigan to scramble, and I don't know if Sims is going to survive handling the ball as loosely as he has.
Well, if Suleiman wants to see more time on the floor, it's defense like that that's going to earn him playing time.
See, here's where you got to challenge Duke. They do such a great job of denying, and you really can't get the ball. That's why opponents' assist tabs are so low.
And look at Parker, end to end, but it's blocked by Bryant. The Cameron Crazies were ready to erupt on a coast-to-coaster by the freshman Parker, but he was denied at the rim.
Good stutter step. Parker didn't really explode like he normally does. After that stutter step, didn't get the elevation off that right foot. And Bryant able to get a piece of it. But for him to get all the way in there, that's a defensive breakdown and go coast to coast. You got to get in front of the ball.
This is a team that specializes in the block among other defensive statistics. They're 4th in the nation in that category. And they force a turnover. Here's Bryant, the pull-up. Too strong. Hood clears for Duke.
See, now that he's got the mindset of taking a guy off the bounce and pulling up, and take a look at that great pass right there by Jabari Parker. You know, Bryant's got to take it to the basket now. That's where you put pressure on the defense. Because if you don't, you miss, and it turns into a play like this. Parker just hands it off. Terrific job there. Jefferson just hid behind the defense. No one knew where he was in that short corner.
Emil Jefferson a chance for a three-point play. Thornton and Suleiman check out. And the 6'8", 210 sophomore from Philadelphia has himself a three-point play, and it's an 18-10 Duke lead. There's a three-pointer from Sims, yes. And that breaks a dry spell. They were 1 of 6 from three-point range before then. Eastern Michigan back within 5.
The way they're playing this 2-3, Jefferson starts in the short corner, comes up high, and if you're not aware of where he is, you get lost in that defense. A little bit of penetration, kicking it down to him solves the problem, solves the zone.
Here's Cook inbounding, and Hood controls. Back to Quinn Cook, who's got a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio in the first 11 games of the season. Three on the shot clock. Hood forced that three-pointer, and Bryant clears. Well, the Top defense in the MAC is doing a number on the Blue Devils in the early going.
Still down 5, but they're still challenging.
The foul's going to go on Emil Jefferson, his first. And even though his team's down 5, Len, you have to think that Rob Murphy's happy with the way things are going in the first half of the first half, holding Duke's under 20 points so far.
Well, he can't be happy about not being able to get the ball in bounds, as they're forced to call a timeout to avoid the 5-second call.
9:33 to go. It's a 5-point ball game. Duke. Well, the previous low for a half for the Duke Blue Devils in the first half was 32 against Michigan. They only have 18 right now. 9.5 to go in the first half against Eastern Michigan.
Well, Eastern Michigan, their defensive numbers are no fluke right now. Again, they limit teams to 37% from the field, 30 from beyond the arc. 65 points is all they allow over the course of the year.
Sims in the paint. Here's DeShante Riley. Shot was short by Harrison. Here comes Cook.
Yeah, Harrison saw the defender and short arm that one. Like I said, you have to play aggressively, assertively against Duke.
Parker, baseline, good. Jabari Parker in double digits already with 10.
He's just got outstanding touch. You know, with his length, good rotation.
And they're going to call an offensive foul. It's going to go on Glenn Bryant, number 23 in green. That's Bryant's second foul. And it'll be Duke basketball, 8:44 to go in the first.
Well, again, this is no time for Eastern Michigan kind of self-destruct. You know, when you come down, you got to be able to at least answer, and you make a stop, you got to be able to make a statement.
We saw Parker patrolling the baseline. There's Jabari Parker in the low post, and he's immediately fouled. I like what Jay Billis said about Jabari Parker. He's like a queen on a chessboard. You can move him all around the floor. Another miss. There's been one chink in the armor so far for the Blue Devils. It's been poor free throw shooting. Nice take to the hole.
And that's about as assertive as I've seen anybody from Eastern Michigan thus far. And that's what you have to do. You got to have somebody willing to challenge the back line of the Duke defense.
5 points for the redshirt senior out of Fort Wayne, J.R. Sims.
But you also have to recognize when the opportunities come. More times than not, Duke does a terrific job of shoring up that middle, ready to take a charge.
Long three from Hood, too strong. Offensive rebound, Parker. He gets the bump and the bucket.
So that's just plain old desire right there. Jabari Parker, terrific position underneath. Look at him fighting for position, battling, commanding that real estate. That's a man right there.
From that Washington trip, vulnerable.
Let's go back to Cameron Indoor. Rich and Len.
Thank you, Steve. Here in Cameron Indoor Stadium, it's 22-15 Duke lead, and Parker misses his second free throw of the afternoon. Duke only 6 for 12 from the stripe so far.
And then again, when you look at what Duke has been able to do, 15 rebounds, 7 of the offensive variety, second chance opportunities.
Tally with the take, and it's tipped in.
And those 7 offensive rebounds are desire rebounds. Right there, you saw Eastern Michigan trying to match that.
DeShante Riley, the 7-footer, using his extension on that pop. There's Parker. Rare miss for the freshman. Riley clears.
And once again, Parker below the defense, behind the defense, in that short corner, kind of got lost.
Sims.
Look at Sims.
And the foul.
Well, that timeout must have done them some good, as Rob Murphy's got his guys playing fearlessly, with reckless abandon. Take a look right here. Now remember, the rule is you have to be set before the player's upward motion, which includes bringing the ball up. It's not, no longer is it about leaving your feet and being set. If he starts his upward motion, even if he's on the ground, you have to be there. And that's, I think, the issue with people who disagree with that call. And they got to recognize the rule has changed.
J.R. Sims, who averages only 10 minutes a game, has made the most of his time here in Cameron. It's a 2-point Duke lead. Hooked inside, Jefferson blocked from behind.
Whoa. Parker has had his foot out of bounds, never really established himself. Got away with that one.
That's going to be Duke ball with 7 on the shot clock. What would you do if you're Coach K here on the inbounds?
Oh, they have a play right here. They got some quick hitters. Probably was going to be a quick pass outside and maybe a lob. But take a look on the baseline. That's Thornton.
Thornton took it strong, had it swatted by Riley, but it's going to be an Eastern Michigan foul.
You don't like the foul, but you like what Riley did. There's the pass in the corner. Bryant closes, and it looked like, even though Thornton threw that left arm out to try to keep the defender away, he got the worst of that.
So Tyler Thornton, the senior out of Washington, D.C. He's now 8 for 9 on the season from the free throw line. Close out the year with a Big Ten college basketball doubleheader Tuesday. First at 1, Aaron Craft and the Buckeyes battle the Boilermakers. Then at 3, the Hoosiers battle the Fighting Illini. Ohio State, Purdue at 1, Indiana, Illinois at 3. Tuesday on ESPN 2. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. Thornton knocks them both down. It's 24-20 Duke. 6.5 to go in the first half.
I'll tell you what, though, this is the value of playing a tough schedule. We talked about Eastern Michigan. Not a lot phases these guys. You know, they recognize now, even if they get down 6, 8 points, they've got the ability to come back with solid defense, timely rebounding, and then on the offensive end, they got guys who are going to challenge. And Sims has been the challenger right here. J.R. Sims is averaging only 2 points, 1 rebound, shooting 37% from the field. But right now, he's been the go-to guy that's kept Eastern Michigan close.
And Mike Talley seemingly has continually found a seam to get the ball to the hole against this Blue Devils defense. He misses the first free throw. There's his night just a couple nights ago in an overtime win at Oakland. 21 points, 9 assists, career high in scoring for Talley, whose dad played at Michigan during those championship runs.
Yeah, both point guards. And we talk about Talley and Sims. Sims 3 of 3 from the field. Leading scorer for this team with 8 points. And Talley's picking up exactly where Sims left off.
1 possession ball game coming up on 6 minutes to go.
Boy, that's deep. That's really deep.
Hood, the offensive rebound. Suleiman. He's bumped by Ward. And Duke's in the double bonus. They're shooting 2.
Yeah, Duke's got to be careful now. You don't want to settle for shots. That was a long 3, about 3 or 4 feet beyond the 3-point line. And I know you can shoot with confidence, but sometimes confidence gets the better of you.
Suleiman cans the first free throw. He has 3 points in the early going.
Yeah,
started out. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the type of game where he should flourish. Up and down game, a game where he can get the ball in transition. Last year, you saw those numbers right there, almost 12 points a game. Yeah. And this year, significantly reduced.
Started out the season strong with a 20-point effort against Davidson. How about this up and under? A little too strong from Talley, and Duke comes away with it. Here's Suleiman again, straight to the hole, gets the foul, and the basket.
Duke taking a page out of the Eastern Michigan book, and that's where Deshaun Riley, you got to make a decision right there. You don't back off. If you're an offensive player going right at a defensive player, you want to jump in his chest. But Deshaun Riley, you don't let the guy get the ball up to the basket. If you're going to take a foul, make sure it's a foul where it's not a 3-point play. And that one, he should have followed through and just went up and blocked it instead of tried to deflect it.
Suleiman has 6. And the lead is 6 for the Blue Devils. Make it 7 with that free throw. And mark this time down when Dejounte Riley had to go to the bench for Rob Murphy with 3 fouls. Harrison lost control. There's Combs, the extra pass to John.
Late call. He did travel, but that was a very late call.
That's 6 turnovers now for the Eagles.
There's the pass right there, but Ajayi is not an offensive player.
And he had just checked into the game, too.
He got the shot off and hit the backboard before the call was even made.
Here's the lob. And a decisive momentum swing. The big man for Eastern Michigan, Dejounte Riley, goes out with 3 fouls. On the ensuing offensive possession, Jabari Parker throws down an alley-oop.
Well, we've seen a number of Duke players get behind the 2-3 zone and get lost. The 2-3 zone is right here, very high. And here he is behind that. No one paying attention to Jabari Parker as he gets lost in the defense. And you see where he is right there? Ajayi much too high, not aware of where he is. And we've seen Jabari Parker do that. We've seen Emil Jefferson do that several times.
That's 9 field goals off of 8 Blue Devil assists. And a dubious opening couple of moments for number 12 out of Eastern Michigan, Olalekan Ajayi.
Now again, we talked about this 2-3 zone being similar in style to Syracuse. You know, Rob Murphy trying to bring that concept to his team. And one thing I will tell you, after having done Syracuse so often, very few guys are going to get lost behind their zone. They're fully aware.
Well, Hughley had the offensive board but missed the follow. Combs went up with it. We have a jump ball. It's going to be Duke basketball on the possession arc.
And those are the instances Eastern Michigan has a chance to fight. I mean, they're going to get grabbed. They're going to get slapped. Just as Duke gets grabbed and slapped on the other end, they continue to fight to get those balls. And what Eastern Michigan has to learn is they've got to continue to fight, too. The referees are not going to bail them out.
Dawkins going to check in for Suleiman for the Blue Devils. 4.5 to go. It's a 9-point Blue Devil lead.
Flashing a guy into that sweet spot against the 2-3 zone.
Parker turnaround.
Call the tech.
Rodney Hood, his first 2 points of the game on a follow dunk, and they're going to call a technical for hanging on the rim.
You see a terrific foul by Hood. No one blocks him out, and that's usually what happens against the zone. He came all the way from the corner, but then he kind of chinned up. And quite honestly, the rule is if you're in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, you can hang on that rim. But right there, Hood had plenty of an opportunity to come down.
And Eastern Michigan can't convert the tech.
Take a look now. Right here, he dunks. Nobody underneath him. All those guys are giving him plenty of room.
And Carrington Ward, who has been held scoreless in the first half, came into this game averaging almost 15.5 a game. He's the Eagles' leading scorer. So far, he's been shut out.
And here's the psychology right now, recognizing that Eastern Michigan psychologically may be down. They want to apply full pressure after the missed free throw.
There's Hughley battling, surrounded by Blue Devils, and gets the foul. And you could tell number 14, Carrington Ward, a bit rattled.
Well, he's no question he's rattled, and I think that's why Mike Krzyzewski exhorted his guys to get up and full pressure these guys, Eastern Michigan. But again, you got to give Eastern Michigan some credit. They came back on that particular possession and fought on the offensive glass. Offensive rebounding is the real rebounding, folks. You know, that's where you have to battle. That's where you have to battle for position as well as for the ball.
So it's going to be Mo Hughley, number 3 in green, at the line shooting 2. He only averages 1.7 points a game. Parker's going to go to the bench, saddled with 2 fouls. Jefferson checks in his place. 14 points in the first half. Outstanding first 20 minutes for Jabari Parker. 2 missed free throws from the Eagles. They're 3 of 8 from the stripe this afternoon.
By contrast, Duke 10 of 17, so they've had the opportunity.
Here's Ward off the steal. He gets fouled and will go to the line. Let's see if that gets him on track. But before we find that out, we have a timeout on the floor with 3:52 to go. Duke has all the momentum. An 8-0 run gives them a 32-21 lead. Blue Devils have 6 players in the scoring column, led by freshman sensation Jabari Parker's 14. It's Carrington Ward, speaking of 14s, at the line for the Eastern Michigan Eagles, and he has his first point of the game.
And that should settle him down after missing the 2 technical foul opportunities. You know, the team's leading scorer really hasn't had many good looks because of the solid defense played by Duke.
Nine-point Duke lead with the basketball. Dawkins. Step back 3, no good, and there's going to be a foul on the offensive rebound. It's going to go on the Blue Devils, and Eastern Michigan's going to be shooting.
Good block out by Talley that time. Suleiman goes over the back, but you know, Duke has got enough offensive weaponry out there between Dawkins and Suleiman and Cook and even Hood to make up for the absence of Jabari Parker, who's on the bench with foul.
So here's Mike Talley, a 68% free throw shooter.
The question is, do they have guys who are going to be able to cover the board like Jabari in instances where you got to limit Eastern Michigan to 1 shot?
Yeah, Parker came in averaging just a shy of 8 rebounds a game.
You know, Hood and Amir Jefferson both have 5 rebounds in this game, but it's really Parker who goes in and gets the tough rebounds.
Talley now has 9 points. Averages only 8.4 a game this season. He's already above the season average in the first half.
But you know, you could see with Talley, his demeanor, his body language, he's had some success. He's in this game now. He's playing fearlessly.
Eight on the shot clock. Extra pass. Jefferson couldn't handle it. 3 on the shot clock. Cook off to the left. Offensive rebound by Hood.
We talked about who's going to step up and get tough rebounds. There you saw it right there. Rodney Hood in the breach.
Kick ball it's going to be. Get close to all the action wherever you are with the new Sports Center app. Blazing fast scores, the hottest news and hype.
Young man can't do on the basketball floor.
I mean, you watch the cut-ups of what he does. It's like he morphs into a different player in every position he is on the floor. You can't say that about many players in the nation. Even the other much heralded freshmen that he came into college with.
Multiple skill sets. That's the best way to describe what he's capable of bringing to the table. Consummate skill set.
So with Parker on the bench, the question is, who's going to step up offensively? Dawkins tried but missed the triple.
And that was a good timeout by Mike Krzyzewski. He saw that his offense was stagnant, And this is a critical time right here to close the half with about 2 minutes, 15 seconds left. Duke's got a 7-point lead. They needed to make that shot, kind of stretch it out. Eastern Michigan now an opportunity to close it and put a little more pressure on Duke.
There's Ward, 10 on the shot clock.
I'm surprised. Carrington Ward doesn't look very skilled. He's the team's leading scorer. And I don't know if it's the defense or if he's got a case of nerves, but he just doesn't seem to be handling the ball with any confidence or strength. You know, if he's the leading scorer and they look to him, he's got to get it going right now.
It'll be Suleiman on the inbounds. Duke up 7, but struggling from the field at 2 of 12 from three-point range, and really haven't shot it well from the free throw line either.
Well, where would they be without Jabari Parker? That's really what it comes down to in this particular game.
Cross pass, Dawkins, yes. Second three-pointer of the game for Andre Dawkins, and it's 849 straight games for the Blue Devils with a 3.
And the luxury right now is the lead.
Another nice take by Talley, but he came up empty. Here's Bryant on the follow, yes, from the baseline.
For Duke, the luxury is the lead because they've been pretty much playing perimeter basketball right now, looking for the 3. They haven't been able to play inside out against the zone, which is essentially the way you solve that zone. That sweet spot below the free throw line or in the short corners, which Duke had utilized earlier.
Cook.
Once again, another perimeter shot.
Yeah, 3 for 14 from three-point range now.
And Talley was definitely challenging.
Here's Ward. Still can't find the range.
Whoa, why wouldn't that be a travel? I guess because he came down and dribbled it, but normally you come down with the ball in your possession, it's a travel. You hit the floor.
6-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
From a psychological standpoint, huge possession for Duke. You might have a chance to put Eastern Michigan away mentally if you can score big here.
They're going to get the foul on Talley. And the freshman, number 13 for Mike Krzyzewski, Matt Jones, set to check in for the final 13 seconds after Suleiman's free throws. Suleiman now with 7. Here comes Matt Jones, gets a big ovation from the Cameron Crazies as Andre Dawkins goes to the bench. Suleiman was a starter from day 1 in his freshman campaign. Has had to learn to adjust to coming off the bench this season. He now has 8, and the lead is double digits for the Blue Devils. Last shot time for the Eagles. Here's Sims. He missed the 3. It's going to stay Eagles basketball with 0.7 left in the first half. Still enough time to get a quick shot off.
Well, they are, because some time did slip off the clock after the ball was out of bounds. They're going to put time back on. Maybe a whole second, which could be all the difference in the world. Wow, a second and a tenth.
Len, you were a whole 1/10 of a second off.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, I just have that problem. Doesn't matter. Mishandle.
So Duke goes to halftime with a 10-point lead. The good news, Jabari Parker, 14 points. The rest of the team, 23. It's been all Parker for the Dukies. And he and his fellow Blue Devils have a 10-point lead over Eastern Michigan. Now let's go to Steve Weissman with the Land Rover halftime report.
Thank you, Rich. Alongside Seth Greenberg, this is the Land Rover halftime report. We begin with an old school.
they've been able to really run their offense, whereas Eastern Michigan, because Duke's stifling defense has been a problem for them, they haven't been able to really get enough assists. They've only got 3 assists on 9 field goals.
Alongside Len Elmer, I'm Rich Holmberg. The other thing that jumped out, Duke got to the free throw line a lot more than Eastern Michigan did.
Yeah, that's what I said. On the balance of that ledger, that's where Duke has its advantage, getting to the line.
So we begin the second half. Duke with a 10-point lead. Eastern Michigan with the basketball. And immediately we get a foul, and that's going to go on the senior Hairston.
But you like the play coming out here. Eastern Michigan in possession in the second half. A design play, backdoor. Try to take advantage of the aggressiveness of the Duke defense.
So Carrington Ward, who was shut out from the field in the first half, had 2 points from the free throw line, goes back to the stripe. And now has it. You talked about a 3-headed monster for Duke in your one-on-one. Let's update that.
Well, one of those heads is prominent. That's Jabari Parker. Rodney Hood slow getting started, but he is rebounding. And Quinn Cook, no points, but still 3 assists. And then once again, he's been able to apply some significant ball pressure at a point when Duke was starting to pull away.
Ward's 1 for 2 from the free throw line, makes it a 9-point Duke lead. Parker looked for the lob from Cook, wasn't there. Instead, baseline 3, an air ball. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Parker mid-range. Yes.
Once again, getting below the defense, that bottom line of the 2-3. And Parker winds up getting the ball unaccosted.
Supremely confident for a young man.
Look at this. They're really denying to the point where Riley has to call a timeout. He couldn't find anybody.
Deshante Riley has to call a timeout with 18:58 to go. Duke with an 11-point lead, 39-28 over Eastern Michigan.
Team D.
Talley was short on the pull-up, and Hood clears for the Blue Devils. Cook all alone, baseline 3, in and out. Talley leaves it for Bryant. Nice transition game.
Mike Talley, you just got to give him credit. He continues to explore and test the Duke defense, transition defense getting back. He will go coast to coast if you allow him to. And if you're his teammate, you got to run with him because you know you're going to get the ball.
Here's Hood. Yes. Rodney Hood's first 3 of the game. He has 5. And the lead is up to a dozen.
So Rodney Hood starting to get on track right now, getting the open looks, and being a lefty, it certainly helps.
Well, again, this is that starting 5 that when they're in there, Duke's defense is much stingier.
And a lot of it, again, we talk about communication. Harrison communicates in the back line. Thornton's out there being a pest, usually getting his hands in the passing lanes, going after guys. I mean, it's tremendous team defense, but they can be vulnerable on individual defense, and that's what Eastern Michigan has to try to do when they get them spread so the help doesn't come. Take them one-on-one. Not be afraid to take the mid-range.
And maybe a little bit of good news for the Eagles. Their leading scorer, Carrington Ward, just knocked down his first field goal of the game. Here's Parker. Uses the body, and they'll go to the line and shoot 2. Jabari Parker well on his way to another 20-point effort. It would be his 10th in the Blue Devils' first 12 games.
There's Quinn Cook once again finding guys in the short corner behind the 2-3 zone. And I think that zone needs to step back, one step back a little bit. Certainly they have to cover the perimeter shooters, and the back line has to step up and cover the mid-range in the middle. But you've got to account for the Duke front line. Guys are just getting lost back there in the short corner, and they've made Eastern Michigan pay.
Parker now with 17, and that replay showed you a little bit why Quinn Cook is 11th in the nation in assists with 6.5 of those a game.
Again, we said at the beginning of the telecast, it all begins with him. He's the catalyst. He finds ways to get the ball to Hood, we get the ball to Parker, make them better players.
And they're going to get Raven Lee with the turnover. That's 9 Eastern Michigan turnovers. They only average about 11.7 a game. So that goes back to what you had reiterated. Duke's defense has really shown up. Errant pass by Parker, but it's saved by Thornton. 10 on the shot clock. Terrific passing by the Blue Devils, but Parker was a bit out of position on that one.
Behind the basket on that, and here, again, no care in utilizing the dribble.
Cook tried to take it himself and missed the layup. Riley comes away with it. Here's Talley pushing. Little step through, but no good. And Quinn Cook is down in front of the Duke bench.
Doesn't seem to be any worse for the wear.
So Cook will take a seat on the bench.
Oof. Carrington Ward obviously loses the ball and almost hurts himself on running into his own guy. And then on the other end, he kind of tweaked that ankle, no contact whatsoever. You saw him in the lower left corner of the screen.
Not receiving any medical attention from the training staff, though. We'll keep you posted on that. So now it's Tyler Thornton running the point. Suleiman and Jefferson in for the Blue Devils. Parker tried the no-look, but it was taken away.
See, sometimes that's... Whoa.
Talley gets the fast break. 11 points for Mike Talley. He's the first Eagle in double digits.
Little juggling act by Mike Talley. But right there, that last play, that turnover by Jabari Parker, he's trying to be a teammate, trying to demonstrate a little unselfishness when maybe he doesn't have to. His teammates understand how efficient he is in scoring, and he just needs to do what he does best. Like that.
Parker. Tapped up, but missed by Jefferson. Chance to cut it to a 7 or 6 point lead. Open look passed up by Lee, drove it to the hole and got the foul instead. We got a timeout on the floor, 14:52 to go. And Eastern Michigan is cut into Duke's lead. It's now just 9.
Individual defense. You know, right there, J.R. Sims exploits both Quinn Cook and Thornton, and in transition, you got Mike Talley running the floor and hoping teammates are going to run with him. But that's a success. Duke plays such good team defense. You got in the half court, you got to be able to spread them out and not be afraid to take them off the bounce, and maybe even take some mid-range shots because they take the charge so well. And in transition, make or miss, you've got to run it back at them. You know, try to run past the pressure. And in transition, if you get a rebound, you've got to push the ball up the floor and test them there, because you're not going to get a chance if you allow the defense to set.
Points in the paint will be key throughout. Here's Jefferson. Back to Jefferson. Blocked by Bryant, but they get the foul instead.
Well, if I'm Bryant, I might have a little quibble on that one too. A terrific defensive play. See the drive right here. Nice pass. Beautiful pass. Now he got his arm. He got his arm. You get another look here. First I thought he got it clean, but he got his forearm.
And Len, that means 3 fouls now on number 23. So both The shot blockers on this Eastern Michigan team saddled with 3 fouls. Bryant and number 10 in green, Deshante Riley.
Yeah, I think, though, I mean, Bryant is a redshirt senior. He should know how to play with 3 fouls at this juncture. You know, Deshante Riley not as experienced, even though he's a senior. I mean, he's one of those guys that has to be careful because he's a shot blocker. He'll rely on instinct. That time he didn't even make contact with the screen. He just slipped it.
Here's Riley. Awkward shot, foul on the floor.
Yeah, Riley is no offensive threat right now. Take a look at Riley's shot. And boy, that's easy call by the officials. Rodney Hood, both hands in Bryant's back.
Inbounds, Bryant. Too strong. Jefferson skies for the rebound.
That's where you would hope guys are more fundamentally sound. That's a perfect area to use the glass.
Neil Jefferson only has 5 points, but has 10 rebounds already. And how about that for a dead-eye 3 from Quinn Cook to get in the scoring column? Here's Combs. Too strong, trying to answer with a 3 of his own.
Yeah, you got to recognize time and score situation. And
Parker lost it on the dribble. Here's Hood.
see that bad shot by Eastern Michigan, too quick. Not recognizing time and score. You got to come back and really answer Duke. Leads to that opportunity on the other end. Plus a dash of good hustle. There's Cook right there, just point blank 3. And the hustle on the floor, 2 Duke guys getting their knees skinned, but the reward is a 3.
ESPN2's coverage of college basketball continues tonight with a doubleheader. First at 8, the Tigers take on the Wolfpack. Then at 10, Jordan Adams and the Bruins host the Crimson Tide. College basketball tonight, Missouri, NC State at 8, then Alabama, UCLA at 10 on ESPN2. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. So what was a 9-point Duke lead has now ballooned to a 16-point Duke lead. The Blue Devils using a spurt between whistles and a couple of back-to-back threes. And now they've hit their last 3 3-pointers after starting a measly 3 for 16 from long distance.
Yeah, I mean, Eastern Michigan's been complicit, though. They've taken some bad shots. You know, some open floor turnovers have hurt them as well.
Duke on an 8-0 run. And a hard foul by J.R. Sims. The officials step in to keep the peace.
Well, the crowd got into it. Outstanding defense by Suleiman. He takes it away. And then Sims comes in and gets called for excessive contact. Once again, outstanding defense. Sims almost couldn't get it over, lost it, and then he comes back and fouls with excessive contact, hence called for the flagrant.
So Suleiman's going to go to the line. Coach K getting an explanation from the officiating crew. Brian Dorsey, Ray Styons, and Sean Cassidy are officials this afternoon.
See, there's a point where you lose your cool. I mean, I thought that Eastern Michigan probably had another run in them. But the bottom line is you have to keep your composure. That was outstanding defense by Suleiman. Created a turnover. You know, you come back to live another day. If he gets the layup, fine. Take it out of the basket, push it up the floor again. Keep the pressure on. Right there now, he's almost waving the white towel.
And you would think it's something that, with all due respect to the Cameron Crazies and the special atmosphere that is here in Durham, this is an Eastern Michigan team that's played Kentucky, that's played UMass, that's played Purdue. They've been in hostile territory before.
Well, yeah, but the frustration was the outstanding defense by Suleiman. And Sims probably recognized he made a mistake. He's probably as angry at himself as he was at Suleiman with the turnover.
So it is officially called a flagrant 1 foul. That means 2 shots and the basketball, 1 more look.
And the flagrant right there is excessive force. If he hadn't swung his arm back, if he just reached in like guys normally do, they probably would just call it a common foul.
That's now 9 points for Suleiman. And all but 2 coming from the free throw line this afternoon. This free throw would make it a 10-0 run, and it does. And the Blue Devils can add to it with the basketball. This one could get away from the Eagles quickly.
As I said, I believe that they had another run in them, but Duke pushes this out to 20. That's one of those psychological barriers that very few teams can overcome.
And they trap Suleiman in the corner, and the sophomore calls a timeout. 13-10 to go, 53-35. 9th-ranked Blue Devils in the lead. Well, Len, we talked about how Duke was slow out of the gate in the first half from 3-point range, but they picked it up in the second half.
Well, you got to take advantage when you can of a slow start by Duke. Eastern Michigan couldn't, and you knew inevitably Blue Devils were going to be able to start knocking shots down from beyond the arc. Shooting about 41% from 3 range, and you give them enough time, they're ultimately going to burn you out there. And they have to, because they don't have a conventional post-up guy. They don't play conventionally inside out. They're more of a perimeter-oriented team, and they get their points in the paint off of transition or offensive rebounding.
And you never doubt that Duke's going to keep firing them up from distance, even if they're not hitting them at first. Coming into this game, they attempted twice as many 3-pointers than their opposition.
Oh, yeah, they'll get them up there. There's no question about it. I mean, it's a part of their game plan.
Here's Parker. Likes that spot. Short that time. Jefferson, an offensive rebound. Great second bounce from Emil Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, it's tenacity by Duke, but also a lack of toughness by Eastern Michigan.
And Parker wishes he had that one back. A one-handed alley-oop would have brought Cameron Indoor Stadium roof down.
I mean, the only guy for Eastern Michigan that rebounds like he really wants the ball. You take a look there. I mean, that's almost like asking Jabari Parker to imitate Superman. I was going to say, the only guy who rebounds for Eastern Michigan like he really wants it is Glenn Bryant. He's on the bench with fouls. That front line out there right now, if the ball doesn't come to them, they're not really aggressively going after it.
A couple of substitutions ready to come in for Coach K. Marshall Plumlee and Andre Dawkins at the scorer's table as Ward goes to the free throw line. And he's short on that free throw. 3 for 6 from the free throw line is Carrington Ward. And a big ovation for Jabari Parker and Rashad Suleiman. Rashid Suleiman has made a living at the free throw line this afternoon. He has 10. Parker has 17. Right now, they're both taking a rest on the bench. So that was a foul on the Blue Devils. It'll be Eastern Michigan basketball. And here comes Mike Talley. Talley on a bit of a mismatch with Jefferson guarding him. Let's see if he tries to take advantage. Ten on the shot clock. Nearly stolen by Hood. Harrison for 3. From the wing, no good. Weak side rebound, Hood.
See, right there, Deshante Riley's got to fight harder for that rebound. I know Hood is 6'8" and tough, But when you command that real estate, Riley had the position. And that's what they need. Eastern Michigan is just one solid rebounder away from being competitive.
Ward missed it, but it went off Plumlee. It'll stay Eastern Michigan basketball. Well, the 9th-ranked Blue Devils are up big by 17. We'll tell you how number 2 Syracuse is doing against number 8 Villanova. Studio.
Back to Duke.
Missed field goal from Eastern Michigan. Here come the Blue Devils. Now to 11 minutes to go with a 17-point lead, and they've assisted on 13 of their 15 made field goals.
Yeah, well, it's excellent ball movement against this zone. And that's what you want. You want good ball movement, finding the open man. Conversely, just like that. Conversely, Eastern Michigan, the Duke defense has really forced them to go one-on-one, and they haven't been all that successful with their shooting percentage.
Largest lead of the game for the Dukies. 56-36. 10.5 to go in this one. Straightaway 3, too strong from Cook. But a fresh 35 for the Blue Devils. Jefferson's been a beast on the offensive glass, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2. How about 14 rebounds for number 21, Emil Jefferson?
Well, he's going after it, and again, you need guys to come off and contribute in that manner. You got 3 guys who score very proficiently. Everybody can't be a scorer, but everybody can contribute, and Jefferson made his mind up that he was going to come in and gain possessions and give them great opportunity.
So Jefferson hits another free throw. Take a look at the Wendy's Wooden Watch preseason top 50 candidates. A couple here playing for the Blue Devils, and Jabari Parker with 17 points so far has not disappointed.
Now Jabari Parker really got Duke off to a terrific start. You know, as his teammates slow to kind of catch up to him, ultimately did catch up. Now they're obviously doing it without him. But where would they be, particularly in the first half, had he not shown up?
17.6 boards so far, but he's on the bench in foul trouble. And Rodney Hood has 8 points, 2 3-pointers this afternoon. Pull up from Combs. No good. Suleiman clears. Halfway through the second half. It's been all Duke in these final 20 minutes.
Once again, look at Plumlee deep in that short corner. That was a bad pass right there, but they knew, Duke knew he was there. I wasn't sure if Eastern Michigan knew he was there.
9 Blue Devil turnovers. Here's Ward, and Ward knocks down the triple. That's his first 3 of the afternoon. He has 9. 42% three-point shooter is Carrington Ward.
But it's been a tough day for Carrington Ward, and Duke has played him very physically.
There's Dawkins another 3. Yes.
A lot of pressure on him.
4 3-pointers for Andre Dawkins, and he has 14. A career 40% three-point shooter. Combs lost it. Cook came away with it. Jump ball, possession hour to Duke. Josh Hairston is going to check in for number 21, Emil Jefferson, who's done yeoman-like work on the boards this afternoon for Mike Krzyzewski's club. On the floor for the Blue Devils, it's Cook and Hairston, Suleiman, Dawkins, and Plumlee. Jabari Parker and Rodney Hood on the bench for the Blue Devils. Hairston had it picked. Here's Sims with numbers. Takes it himself. And he gets fouled and will go to the line. J.R. Sims, who had 8 points in the first half, looking for his first points of the second half.
Yeah, Sims was very assertive in the first half, in the half court, taking the ball to the rack, forcing the Duke backcourt guys to play him or lay off of him. And he hasn't been able to get on track here in the second half. Lost his composure. gets a flagrant foul call.
J.R. Sims now with 9.
These are the character builder games. These guarantee games, as Rob Murphy said, they have to take them. So if you're going to take games like this, why not play the best? You know, it teaches you something about your team, particularly playing here.
Look at the trap, and it works to perfection. Ward with the throwdown. Well, that takes at least a little wind out of the Duke Blue Devil sails. Suleiman.
Just a little. Well, you look at the pressure right here. Eastern Michigan, we know they're a good defensive team. They haven't really been able to show it because of the superior Duke offense. But then in transition, Ward gets loose. One of the few times he's gotten loose today.
Rashid Suleiman at the line looking for a three-point play. Jabari Parker has checked back in, so with 8:22 left. Let's see if Mike Krzyzewski's pushing the right buttons as he usually does. 13 points for Suleiman. 21-point lead for the Blue Devils. Talley in the paint. Tough shot.
And once again, Talley off the bounce. Gets into the paint and creates havoc.
Mike Talley is leading the Eagles in scoring this afternoon with 13. There's Parker. And there's a timeout on the floor with 7:53 to go. A 19-point lead for the 9th-ranked Duke Blue Devils, 64-35.
He's hit 8 of them. And that's 50%, obviously. And today, he's just perfect. Every opportunity he looks. 4 of 8 from the field. All 4 of those field goals are 3 points. And he's a guy, again, we talked about the up and down career here. But, you know, he's making the most of this graduate year.
Playing in his 120th game in a Duke uniform. Cook, here he is again. Dawkins. He's now tied with Parker for the game high with 17 points. Ward had it blocked by Dawkins. Parker. Talley. Rebound Dawkins. Here comes Cook. And just like that, it's a 24-point game.
Take a look at a variety of high screens, short corner.
Parker landed right on top of Carrington Ward.
And right below the free throw line, Duke has been able to attack this 2-3 in just every conceivable space where it's effective. So they're having pretty good practice. Looking forward to that February 1st meeting with Syracuse up at the Orange Dome.
Nice turnaround jump shot there by Glenn Bryant as the timeout was called. And here's Andre Dawkins with a clean block on Carrington Ward's three-point attempt.
Yeah, Carrington Ward, finesse player. Just, you know, he works on timing and rhythm, and Andre Dawkins just destroyed that with a difficult kind of block on your own man, and it pays off in transition, getting Jabari Parker from the weak side.
Close out the year with a Big Ten college basketball doubleheader Tuesday. First at 1, Aaron Craft and the Buckeyes battle the Boilermakers. Then at 3, it's the Hoosiers and the Fighting Illini. Ohio State versus Purdue at 1, and Indiana, Illinois at 3. Tuesday on ESPN2. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. The Boilermakers, one of those tough power conference teams that Rob Murphy and company took on earlier this year. They lost to them. They lost to Kentucky and UMass. But this is a team, once they get into MAC play, is certainly going to be one of, if not the top defenses in that conference, and everything geared towards winning in your conference and trying to get an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, when you play teams like this is called seasoning. You season these guys and make sure they're up to the task. They have an opportunity to have faced all types, not only of programs, but certainly all types of defenses, defended all types of offenses.
Parker, high post to low post. Suleiman, nice look to Plumlee. And the crowd and the team didn't necessarily agree with the officials on that one.
Hey, look at the penetration right there and the dish off. Plumlee playing behind the defense in the short corner, just waiting. Here's the penetration, the step up, but no rotation. Ward was the culprit on that one. And here, once again, the drive. Mike Talley draws contact, even though Plumlee gets the block. And Talley, no quitting him. He keeps going at it, keeps going to the rim, keeps forcing Duke to play him.
Talley's second miss from the free throw line this afternoon. He's stuck on 13. Transfer from Duquesne, but a man who grew up in Detroit, just like his head coach, Rob Murphy. 4 of the top 7 in Murphy's rotation from Motown. Talley misses both. Here's Cook for 3. Short. Harrison from the wing. Yes. Dalen Harrison knocks down his first triple, and he has 7.
Well, Eastern Michigan is going to persist in pressure, you know, hoping that maybe Duke will kind of fall asleep at the switch, leave the door crack.
Parker.
Not like that, though.
Too easy. And now Jabari Parker has 21. So it's 8 games out of 11 for Jabari Parker in 20-plus points. Check that I shortchanged Jabari Parker. He's now got 20-plus points in 10.
12 then.
And he's looking to add to that total as he'll go to the line and shoot.
Oh, we talked about maybe catching Duke asleep at the switch, thinking they got this game won. The young man is still playing as if it just tipped it off.
Well, he's slowly but surely climbing that list of all-time 20-point games by freshmen. Now trailing just Mike Jaminski and Gene Banks from the late 70s. You think about all the great players that have come through here, and Jabari Parker, 1 year or not, could very well be mentioned with all the greats of them.
Well, I mean, you could mention them, and in this day and age, you know, it's the old asterisk in my mind, because, you know, if you mention them with the greats here have stayed 3 and 4 years. And I'm not, you know, not taking anything away from this young man. You know, he's an outstanding player, terrific player, but he's certain to move on to the next level. And therefore, in many ways, just forfeits, you know, pretty much the forfeits the ability to be mentioned in the same breath as some of the great players here.
Matt Jones is checked in, gets a big hand, as does Shemi Olajay, number 20 in white. Maybe the best athlete on this Blue Devils roster. Both of those players overshadowed, to say the least, by their fellow freshman Jabari Parker. Counting down to 4 minutes to go. Hughley. First two of the game were under 4 minutes. 75-52. The 9th-ranked Blue Devils steamrolling towards their 10th win of the season. Dawkins again. A game to remember for Andre Dawkins. 6 3-pointers. And it's tipped away and stolen by Dawkins.
Right now, Duke closing in on their season average points per game. 13th in the nation in scoring, 85.5 points. And again, defensively, they may hold this Eastern Michigan team to under 60 points, which will be the 7th straight game. We talk about allowing teams 66 points per game in the last 6 games where they're going to hold them again.
Quinn Cook checks out. Getting a lot of love on the Duke bench. It was a quiet game offensively. Only 3 points for Quinn Cook, but he contributed mightily in the assist column. 7 assists for the young man, averaging 6.5 coming in. 11th in the nation in that category. Here's Jones. Tough floater. Rebounded by Hughley. And picked off by Dawkins.
Hiding in the weeds. Thought you have a fast break, and then out of nowhere, Dawkins comes with the interception.
The lead is 28. Kickball by Strickland, and with 2:09 to go, it's been all Duke in the second half. When we come back from this break, Buzz Williams and the Marquette.
Bergen studio, they were talking about that sick dunk. Here it is, Marquette Sanford, Deontay Burton, coach.
Doc! Is that the next Jay Crowder? Lazar Hayward? I don't know, but that is a high percentage shot.
Freshman from Milwaukee bringing it. Marquette's on top. What do you think, guys?
Pretty impressive, Steve. Pretty impressive, but we've been impressed, especially in the second half, by these Blue Devils. Jabari Parker has a handful of dunks to his credit. He's got 23 on the game, and now Shemi Olajay will go to the line. Oh, Len, we talked about Shemi Olajay, a highly touted freshman out of Ottawa, Kansas, coming in, but overshadowed by his fellow freshman, Jabari Parker. He might be the best athlete on this team. They have a hustle board in their training room, and he owns a couple of those records on that hustle board.
Well, it's continued motivation. You know, he knows he's an understudy right now as Jabari Parker is taking the stage and taking the nation by storm, but Parker in all probability won't be here next year. And Semi has shown that he can put points on the board. 14 points against UNC Asheville back in November.
Word has it that Olajay out-jumped the 12-foot standing jump test to start the season.
But he's only played 1 game in the last 5, so you know, he probably needs a lot of work, a lot of polish.
He needs some of that seasoning you were talking about earlier.
Telegraph that one.
And Talley gets the basket and the foul. That's going to go on Suleiman, his 3rd.
Too few opportunities for Eastern Michigan, mostly because of the Duke defense, but partly because of their inability to handle the pressure. But too few opportunities for them to really take the ball to the basket hard, really exploit the one-on-one opportunities defensively with Duke, where, you know, they've had some success.
Coming up next, the Chick-fil-A Bowl preview show. A lot of Duke fans are going to tune into that. The Blue Devils taking on Texas A&M. in Atlanta, Georgia. Here's Jones for three. Out of bounds on Eastern Michigan. It's Duke basketball. Oh, there's 1:06 to go. 82-55. Blue Devils comfortably in the lead. This will be their 24th straight win in the month of December, and also their 24th straight win at home.
Home sweet home. Nothing like it.
Add the Eastern Michigan Eagles to the tally. It'll now be 109 consecutive non-conference home wins for the Blue Devils as Talley adds to his tally. He now has 18. That's a team high for the Eagles.
Boy, you like Mike Talley, 6-footer out of Detroit. Very aggressive, assertive point guard. You need somebody like that. That's leadership. You know, despite the score, he's still going at it hard.
Ten on the shot clock for the Blue Devils. Suleiman one-on-one. There's Jones for three, in and out.
Talley's not going to waste this opportunity. He's going to the hole.
And he gets it. 20 points for Mike Talley, following up a 21-point effort the other night. And the clock runs out on this one. 82-59 is your final score. Their 109th consecutive win at home against a non-conference opponent for the Duke Blue Devils. They improve to 10-2 on the season. So that'll do it for Durham. Jabari Parker with 23 points leads the way, and the Blue Devils down the Eastern Michigan Eagles, who fall to 7-4 on the year. So for Len Elmore, I'm Rich Hollenberg. So long from Durham, North Carolina. Now we send it to the Chick-fil-A Bowl preview show.
Help us celebrate the rivalry.
ACC versus SEC.